And we are live.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Serial Thrax, and I am joined by Homeless Bill, the organizer, creator, corrective director, all that jazz of this Major League Mech Warrior tournament, and this is the grand final. Imperial versus Steel Jaguar, best of 5, winner takes all. And Bill, why don't you tell us what all entails?
All is a $1,300 grand prize. Of course, the runner-up is still going to get $850. There's a huge donation pool thanks to the community, $2,850, and an additional $1,000 of in-game prizes from PGI like MC packs and mech bays and all sorts of fun stuff. And watch out in chat. Looks like Tina and Paul are going to be showing up intermittently and handing out some premium time. So be sure to check in for that.
Alright, and actually we are joined right now by Aduvo, a member of EMP, and we're going to do a quick pregame interview. Hello, Addy.
Hi. How are you doing today? Serious.
I'm good. You got some nerves
Good.
for this upcoming fight, or are you feeling pretty confident?
I'm feeling pretty confident. I mean, I've been playing this game for way too long now, and I was nervous at the beginning of my playtime, but not anymore. I guess. Just normal, everyday stuff for me now.
Grizzled
You
veteran.
guys had... Sorry, Bill, what was that?
Grizzled veteran syndrome.
Old.
Now, Addy, you guys had a hell of a series. For anybody who didn't catch it, the last finals, it was sort of the prequel finals, because it's a double elimination, and SJR was coming from the losers bracket. SJR took that 3-2, and you guys literally alternated every single battle. Have you ever had like a match as tough as that one, or?
No, that's about about the hardest thing. Yeah, I mean the second runner-up was probably during the first engagement finals again versus SJR. It's a way back when though. But since then,
that was a sudden death match too. So it was.
That's where the nerves came in, you know.
Now, how were you guys feeling after that one? Are you, were you shaken at all? Are you confident as a team coming into this? You know what you have to fix?
I wouldn't really say we were shaken, but we spent a lot of time watching those match VODs, like just, a lot of time. And paying special attention to the radar and just marking where people were at what specific times. And we were able to analyze that to the point where we were able to find out what exactly the mistakes we made were. And we have worked hard to fix those. So I'm expecting a much better performance from us this time around.
You comfortable sharing any insight with the viewers, or do you just want to keep that under wraps and see what you can improve?
Well, I know I'm going to do it differently.
Not get shot in the back at 700 meters?
Not get team killed at 700 meters. I'm also going to be playing an Urban Mech, just for all the viewers out there. It's a love letter to you. Urban Mech hype. Right?
New meta.
I don't even own an Urban Mech.
This team, how would you describe like your team as a whole, the members that are part of it?
That's... I've never really thought about it, I guess, in that way. I'm sure as everyone has noticed, we're kind of an acclamation of the Old House of Lords competitive section, and some people from SWK. But we've all talked to each other for a while, and I would say we're all really good friends at this point. Just being on the team, I think we've been around since January of this year. So, team synergy's up. Everyone is good terms with each other. Everyone's friends. It's just nice playing in that kind of environment.
And kind of the flip side to that is, through the teams that you've been on, you faced SJR quite a bit. And it always seems to be that it's SJR and EMP or Lords coming to these finals. Sort of two-part question. One, how does that bode for the competitive scene as a whole? Is it just you two, or are there more to it? And two, how do you describe your opponents? What's their playstyle like? How does it differ from yours?
Well, the first part of the question is that's something. As someone who's been part of the competitive scene, I guess you call it, for a while now. There was a point in the game where I would say that there were more teams on equal skill levels, and nowadays there isn't. But that doesn't mean that the other teams are just like bad or anything. It just means that SJR has been around, like just using you guys as an example. You've been around for ages. You've had a pretty stable roster, and you've been able to grow throughout that entire period. And EMP is kind of the same way. We've had players that have been playing together for ages, and eventually you're going to reach the point where you don't really need to communicate every single little thing. You're able to free up comms a lot more because you all know each other's play styles, and you're all able to play together at the same at that point. Now, for the newer teams that are coming up in the competitive scene, there are a lot. Like 228, for example, has improved drastically over the past, I don't know, 5 months. And then you see just like new teams that kind of come out of nowhere, like Isengram, who have been doing well lately and just like really are dedicated to improving themselves as a team. I mean, so in terms of like health of the competitive scene, I wouldn't say it's thriving or anything, but I also wouldn't say it's exactly like dead either, as some people like to say. And as for the second, I mean, I guess I kind of answered both questions with that, but I don't know. Should I clarify at any point, Siri?
Well, the same part is more is what is it like to fight SJR, and what would you say you have to do to beat them in this match coming up?
Well, SJR has gone through some roster changes in the past few months, and the playstyle has changed, I would say. For old SJR, I think, both iterations we've been pretty evenly matched, I would say. I mean, we just kind of been considered rivals for a very long time at this point. To beat like new SJR, gosh, it's kind of hard to. I'm not sure. Well, I am sure, but I'm not sure how to phrase it in a way that's that's not like a paper, like an essay. There's a lot of little complexities you have to pay attention to, and as much as people say that scouting is pointless in competitive matches, scouting is very much on the forefront, and we really need to look at drop decks, just judging by the mechs you guys or SJR is going to have, and play around that. A lot of it is just counterplay. We can't just set out with a static game and expect to do well. We need to play in response to what you guys are doing, just as much as SJR needs to play in response to what we're doing. We can't. It's not like the old PPC Gauss meta where, all right, these mechs go here, these mechs go here. This is always the optimal way to play, and go do that. It's a lot more dynamic nowadays.
Fair enough. Well, any last words for the opposition, for the fans and viewers before we get into this?
Does everyone have their paste cans? All right, if you have your paste cans, I want you to stick your finger or hand in those paste cans. Pull it up and just put the paste in your mouth. Eat that glue. It's great for you.
Just thank you, Adi.
You're welcome.
Sorry, Adi, was that to the viewers or was that to SJR?
Oh, that's everyone. We love glue. Or you mean we don't love glue, but everyone else does.
No, you're more along the paint chips kind of taste.
Paint chips? Oh, I stiff markers, man. I love Sharpies.
All right. Thank you very much, Adi. Good luck in your upcoming match.
You're welcome. Thanks.
I still don't trust you.
Does anyone? I don't think anyone does. Woohoo.
User in your channel was kicked from the server.
All right. So, Bill, speaking of the last match, why don't you take us through the breakdown on how each of those fights went?
Sure. For a quick recap, I will say that it was an amazing series, probably the best I've ever witnessed or had the pleasure of casting. For anybody that has not seen it, check out my YouTube channel. I put a link in chat like 5 minutes ago because of the stream delay. But yeah, fantastic series. Game 1, Adi did get shot in the back early on, just one-shotted by their own Direwolf, and that basically forced them to push into SJR, who was set up in a really nice position to receive, and it was a pretty convincing win for SJR. They did a good job defending their ground. Match 2, EmpyreaL worked the map like professionals, slowly cutting off SJR's avenues of escape, and ended up getting them in this low ground box place. I can't remember what grid, but they really had no hope to get out at that point, and they just got struck and shot to death. Decisive EMP win there. Match 3 was so close and so good. It actually went to cap points, something I never thought we would see. in an SJR EMP game. It was like 3 mechs to 4 mechs left standing. SJR was super close to dead. If EMP's lights had bailed out and tried to just kill instead of cap towards the end, they might have pulled it off, but I don't think they knew how weak the opponents were. Just a really, really great match. Match 4, SGR got ballsy, went on the offensive, deathballed right into EMP, but a couple of nice strikes on the way in and some good focus fire from EMP ended up handing them the match by, I want to say they had 4 or 5 or 6 mechs left standing. And then game 5. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say on of those 4 or 5 mechs, it was their entire light lance, and they just did some decimating work at the end.
You're absolutely right. SGR's lights got isolated a little bit earlier out on the outskirts and just couldn't bring that firepower to the end of the game effectively. And then game 5, an all-out brawl. EMP charged into the open, and one of their guys got separated. Like, one of their freshest mechs was dealing with a couple of lights, and that might have actually been the deciding factor. Another very close match, but it slowly went to SGR in terms of trades. I think they had the better position there. But really great series of games. Definitely go watch them. If you want to know how to play this game competitively or just in general, check that out. And it looks like the lobby is half formed right now. So I assume we'll be in here in another 5-ish minutes.
Yep, looks like we almost have all of SJR in. Once we have that, EMP should follow pretty quickly.
And I guess I should do a quick thing about the prizes. So, again, $1,300 grand, well, nearly $1,300 grand prize, like $1,280, $850 for the runner-up here. So even in getting second place, you're getting quite a bit of money. 228th Black Watch, I'm pretty sure, ended up taking third place, and that's a prize of about $425. And then Atari Scorpions took 4th place and got, like, whatever half of that is. I think, nope, I lied. 280. So, pretty good prize distribution. Then, of course, we got the 2000 MC prize that we gave away to multiple teams. Isengrim was mentioned earlier, and they really have been one of my favorite teams to watch this season. Lots of spirit, making the pregame lore videos. With some guy on a hill with shields and stuff talking, and it's pretty great. And they also
lost the Nova.
They lost the Nova in what's that? What is the league called? What's the full league
NBT, Net Battletech.
Net Battletech. Okay.
Just as a quick aside, I think signups right now are closed. They're going through a test phase. They're going to be open soon. If you haven't heard of it, look into it. It's coming back from like MechWarrior 3, MechWarrior 4. Revamped, website updated, all that to get it working with MWO. The whole concept is it's a huge planetary campaign to end planetary campaigns. You buy your mechs, you attack certain worlds that other people have, you loot your enemies' mechs, etc., etc. So
it's like the metagame that we wanted Community Warfare to be, but to be fair, they've been doing it for a long, long time, iterating on it. But yeah, check that league out. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I'll work up some motivation here and start casting those other leagues again. And for anyone out there who's watching that's on one of those MBT teams, bug me if you have matches. Find me, bug me on Reddit or the forums or wherever, and I will try to come cast your match or find someone to come cast your match.
Same goes here. If you want me to cast something, bug Homeless Bill.
Yeah, geez, that sounds great. I'll just be everyone's secretary. Moving up in the world.
Okay, what were we talking before I interrupted with NBT?
Prizes. And
Prizes, yes.
So Isengrim got the paint job award because they're always painted in, like, everybody on their team is painted up with, like, blue and orange. Love it. Lots of spirit there. New Texas Mercenaries got the early elimination prize. They put on a good show. I was glad to see a lot of, not normally competitive teams show up. And you know what? Each one of their members took home 2,000 MC for just showing up. So congrats to them. Geez, I should have probably memorized the other 2 teams that won awards, but let's check on the website and see if I can figure that out, huh? You know what? Gonna have to check my Firefox email. So Siri, take it away for a couple of minutes.
Ooh, under the bus. Let's see.
Bus.
Well, let's talk about the rules. Tourmaline. Tourmaline Desert is going to be our map for this entire finals. Unlike some of the other leagues where we're changing from drop to drop, nope, it's for this entire round. And the drop format, it's going to be alternating. We're starting on Conquest. It's 3 lights, 3 mediums, 3 heavies, 3 assaults. And then it flips, it goes to Skirmish with a limit of 720 tons. Then it goes back to Conquest, back to Skirmish, back to Conquest. So 3 rounds of Skirmish, 3 rounds of Conquest, 2 rounds of Skirmish. And like we said, it's a best of 5. Historically speaking, these teams are very, very split in their wins. And they don't lose often. I think, in fact, the only defeats of either side in recent history is the other team here tonight. So,
yeah, these two teams really are on parity. Like, they are sort of head and shoulders above the rest. And, you know, SJR always has been, and frankly, like the core group of EMP always has been too. Although, you know, as you note, they picked up a lot of players from Swords of Kentares and some other units there.
Right. And they're head and shoulders above the rest, but they're neck and neck with each other. SJR beats EmpyreaL 3-0 in the Run Hot or Die finale. EmpyreaL bounces back, beats SJR 3-0 in the winners bracket final of Major League MechWarrior. And then in MRBC, they trade matches 3-2 apiece. And then, of course, this past one where it was 3-2 in that tense finals series. So it's going to be good tonight. And EMP is loaded up in lobby. We're just waiting for them to ready up. So we should be in here probably less than a minute.
All right, well, then I'll finish up prizes. The other two, of course, I forgot. Marine Mechs, One Sportsmanship, of course. Great guys, played hard, and just really nice guys. I don't know what else to say. I like them a lot, and I'm glad they showed out. And Stratagame, Mercor, and Affiliates actually won the Going Down Swinging prize for taking out the most enemy mechs in a loss the first week. In fact, they did it by a rather large margin. They took them to 3 matches, and every one of them was really close. So, good job to them. And then, of course, we've given away tons and tons of mech bays. Again, if you didn't hear it before, Tina and Paul will be in stream chat at some point maybe to give away a bunch of premium time. So be sure to keep your eyes on that. And I would ask viewers for a little patience. I'm sorry, but I have not practiced casting at all since the last finals, so it's gonna be a little rough getting the controls up to speed, especially because, you know, I'm doing the controller for smooth views, and then of course all of the fun controls, the new stuff, is on the keyboard, all the overlays, so it's gonna be a little rough going here, so stay with me, viewers. It's gonna be okay.
And as we're just waiting for the last 2 or 3 people to ready up, I'm going to go run down this list. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2 teams competing here, Steel Jaguar, led by the Magician, followed up by G-Man 129, Cornite, Carnage X, Soul, Verburzern or Gillingham, the Pie Maker, Jaguar 12, Criven, Gut, the Legal Department, and Tifa 90. Facing off against them on Team 2, we have EMP, with Selith, Ridden, Imminent, Ex Machina, Twinkie Overlord, Schopenhauer, Coburn, Heimdallite, Aduvo, Aurora, Proton, and Fission. And give us just another 5 or 10 seconds for the last ready up, and we should be right into this kicking off match.
Any predictions, Siri?
You know, I really hope it's going to be a close one. I have no idea which way this is going to swing. Like, of course, home team rooting for SJR, because I was on the team in the past, but
I'm just throwing a random prediction out there. 3-1 Imperial. I don't know why. It's the first thing that came to mind, so we'll see. See if I'm right, winning all the money that I didn't bet.
I'm going to be wrong anyways, so I'm going to be super optimistic, and I'm going to say 3-0 SJR.
That's great. I like how we have diametrically opposed predictions here. Let's see how this plays out. I am hoping for a 3-2. I gotta be honest. I don't care what happens. I just want to see 5 games. If I'm gonna put on a real shirt and a tie, then come on, man.
Alright. One thing we haven't mentioned is, if you haven't heard, the crystals on Tourmaline, their hitboxes were improved. I don't know if they're perfect, but they are improved in terms of not getting blocked by invisible walls. And second, of course, this is a hot map. How that's going to interact with the typical laser vomit builds that we have, we'll see. And it
third,
is
we
a
are
bigger
in
map,
match.
so Conquest might have a bit to come into play.
Alright.
Alright, so
Can I get my little
just running this
control
by to be
overlay
correct.
up?
BM backspace Q, if I recall correctly. Tap. BM backspace Q tap. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, in red, we have EMP. They are taking up the south position. They got all their assaults on the close spawn to the enemy. They've got Stalker 4N, Timberwolf C, just doing some quick peeking. And they are opposed by also the Assault Lance of SJR, 2 Direwolves, and a Stalker. Riordan down to 93%, coming down to 93% in a Hellbringer, so even trades so far. EMP is closing up with their Assault Lance, trying to get down to the middle. They're going to be putting Schopenhauer and the Stormcrow onto Theta to pick that up. It doesn't look like the side points have been picked up yet. And with that, EMP ticks over Theta. Looks like he's staying on to put a little more on it. It's going to be a while before that matters. Riordan and the Stalker, though, over on the side, he is losing his trade. He's down to 84%.
Only the head's open, though.
Whoa!
Oh, they are
the
shooting
hell?
each other. It looks like it's time to TK.
Disconnect. Probably? Yes? No?
I
Yeah,
don't know. What does
disconnect.
the chat say? Who knows? Well, it looks like we've got a do-over, or...
Who disconnected?
Sweet. Sweet. Well, this is not exactly the start we were hoping for, but this is very quintessentially MechWarrior Online competitive, so I can't say I'm really disappointed here. Yeah, looks like Coburn's not moving in his Raven, so I gotta believe.
I think Coburn has had some problems in the past, so that makes sense. Although his teammates haven't killed him. Oh well. Should just time out once he dies. One interesting difference that I'll just point out on the teams is that EMP has opted for 3 Stalkers and 3 Stormcrows. They have a Hellbringer and 2 Timbers, I believe, if I'm looking at this. No, Hellbringer, Timber, Thunderbolt. Whereas SJR on the heavies, they brought 2 Timbers and a Hellbringer. Their assaults are a Stalker and 2 Direwolves. EMP has actually forgone the Direwolves. And their mediums are 2 Stormcrows and a Wolverine. So they put gut into the Wolverine with that right side large laser poke.
I'm sort of confused as to why it is taking so very long for everyone to kill themselves, but we have like
I don't.
2...
Corbin's alive and killing himself. There we go. So it's just Aurora left for EMP.
Aurora's overheating now, so okay. This is almost as bad as when my team tries to kill itself. QQ is pretty bad at suicide, I gotta say. Whenever I was playing with him in competitive and we had to do this, it always took like 4 minutes, and I don't know why.
Looks like SJR killed half of themselves and then powered down.
Carnage takes it by a large amount, doing more damage than almost everyone else combined. 114.
And those were the early trades going out on Rithen and the Stalker. And you can see that Rithen didn't really get much in return. So, yeah.
That happened, and we are still at 0-0. Nothing has happened as far as I'm aware here, viewers, so... Are we totally reforming? Was it wrong sides?
No, Magician picked Team 1, I'm pretty sure.
Well, they're all leaving lobby like it was wrong sides, so... I guess I'm gonna leave this lobby
Let
too.
me go find out. Let me go find out.
Alright, we'll find out.
User left your channel.
Well, I guess since Siri's abandoned me, now's a good time to start thanking all of the people I need to thank, because there are so very many of them. No, I don't want to do that. I just want to leave the lobby. Oh god, I'm bad at this. Okay. So, first, I'd like to thank all of the donors to this tournament, anybody who donated to the prize pool, including PGI, and especially Heimdallite for putting up the initial $500. It's, you know, that's the thing that got it off the ground and going. You know, PGI added to the momentum, and then everybody else came in with a bunch of donations, big and small. It was a nice community effort, so thank you to everyone who did that. What's the word?
Apparently, about half the people in the lobby were experiencing tremendous lag.
Ooh. Well, this is gonna be good. Dude, if this match gets canceled, I am gonna be so pissed off.
Yeah, just a little bit. Well, looks like they're gonna try reforming the lobby, doing it again. Hope it was just a random screw up.
Yeah, if anyone from PGI is watching that's a network engineer, you should totally go fix that. Because that's how it works, I'm sure. And I guess continuing with the thank yous, big thank you to our new community man, well, not new at this point, our community manager, Tina Benoit. She's been great, responsive, helped me with any inquiries I had, any requests, advertising, all that good stuff. Maybe she's in stream or maybe she's still getting home, but huge thanks to her. Thank you to Siri for casting so much. So it's always nice to have, well, compared to the other people in the casters chat, dude, so like most of those people in there have never casted a single match, so whatever. It's always good to have somebody experienced here to sort of run the show. And a big thank you to Army of One as well for picking up a lot of slack there in casting when I was sort of off for about 3 weeks or something. I haven't seen him around casting in a while, but he did for a long time. That was a big help. Thank you to, oh god, Fart Noodle. Fart Noodle did this overlay, and it's awesome. Thank you to him, and thank you to Blade Splint for making the background for me. Go ahead, Siri.
I was going to say that I haven't seen as many people advertising their matches on Outreach, so if you're going to stream your match, just throw up a post. Let us know. We want to see these on Reddit, Outreach HPG.
Or, you know, RMWO, if you feel like it. They're people too.
I mean, do it on both. I don't judge. But please, let us know. People want to see this. Like, if we can get a cast on it, great. If not, just, even if you have records of fights that happened, throw them up there. I know Ice and Grim, for one, has been doing it. So
definitely, it's always good to see. You know, pug games can be just sort of random chaos, and it's nice to see this game played at a higher level, played with some strategy, because this game is so team and strategy oriented. Oh, and thank you to the Rouza, I think that's how you pronounce it, for hosting my channel. You rock, dude. Hope that 24-hour stream's going well. Oh, Paul's in chat.
Alright, we got his chair back in here. Both of the spectators are back in. Should be getting EMP pretty darn quick. Oh look, it's yeah, it is Paul.
We're banning them for suicides and team killing.
Quick, unleash the piranhas. So I might as well, I suppose, use time to do some breakdown on the map.
All right, I'll switch over to
Unless
there.
you've got anything else.
Nah.
I was hoping to save this to kill some more time later, but eh.
Yeah, PGI, please make it easier to switch modules or share modules or something, because having like 10 minutes between matches is really hard for esports. Just saying, guys. But whatever. Improved spectator was a big step up, so I guess I can't complain.
I think
Alright.
Paul's response is just buy multiples.
I know
But anywho.
they want me to buy multiples, but the end game is a choice between, like, do you want to buy more mechs or do you want to have fully equipped mechs? That's such a crappy choice, especially for people like me that just compulsively make bad purchasing decisions.
Anywho, let's have a look at this map. You have it up?
Yep.
Alright. So the thing to look for early is that there are two lances that spawn in close proximity to each other. On Team 1, that's going to be this lance right here. And on Team 2, that is going to be the lance in E4. Literally, this lance in E4, they walk like 30 meters. They crest this ridge, and there are long shots along this corridor here. And on the flip side, that lance just moves up, and you trade back and forth. And both of these positions are pretty good, because the early game engagement is going to center on who can take the central cap. As we saw in the last one, it's a little easier for the southwest team to slide somebody up under the sort of, there's a raised, what we call the stage here. And you can hide underneath it in order to cap the point if you're on the southwest team. And then just use the cap structure as cover. Now, typically, that's how the early game plays out. You're going to see the teams after that, they're going to start looking at picking up one of the side points, and how quickly and how much they commit to that is going to be based on, one, how well they're doing on trades. If they've already forced the opponent back, they're going to just look for the kill. They're going to go for the jugular, not juggler, and try and just swing their fast forces around the back, around the side, to try and get a pick, a new angle, an isolation. But if it's looking to be a bit of a more static long game, then you're going to see them shifting down, shimming a bit one way or the other, and then sending one or two lights off to cap the side point. When they do this, they're vulnerable. Obviously, they're going to be a mech or two down. Now it's lights. Lights don't have the most firepower in just a straight up slugfest and a trade, but if you can keep them alive, and if they keep active during a fight, during a full engage, they're going to find people's backs, and they're going to murder those backs. So it may seem small with them out of the fight, but it's going to add up. And that's why you have to make sure when you go for that side point that, one, you're not getting aggressed on, and two, that you are in a good defensive position just in case. So, seems straightforward. From there, once we get like that sort of center duel settled, and teams should easily be able to pick up one of the side points, it's going to settle into a 3-2 continued trade phase. The onus is on the team that has only two to either do something clever and take the back points or the side points away from their enemy in order to equalize that up, or to just win that trade phase so cleanly that they can push out and make an end of the game before the points just lose them. So now,
Looks like the lobbies are formed up here, so we should be dropping in about 30 seconds, hopefully.
okay, cool. Now my last point on this is that sort of the initial positions that the teams have that we discussed, like the stage area up here and this E4 section plus the F5 ridge down, let me sketch it up, down in here. Those are generally the two strongest positions. You're going to look for a rotation through E6 to the back or D4 to the back, but otherwise you'll just be statically trading in that area. And with that, we are into the match. So let's see how much of those predictions are accurate.
Or if we get another horrible lag spike, who will win the lag award? I'll give away 500 MC for that. Okay, let me get the controls back up.
Okay, so same deal as last time. Neither team was allowed to change their mechs. We got the SJR Assault Lance stepping up quickly, looking for the trades, and Rithen, Seleth, and Imminent on EMP trading back. Ooh, Seleth already down to 79% in that Timberwolf. Rithen this time is perfect, but Imminent in the Thunderbolt down to 84%.
And that's all CT damage on Seleth. He has opened up. That is not good to have in the early game there. It's probably a full shot from a Direwolf.
Definitely, perhaps even two, just double tapping him. Now, unlike last time, well, like last time, Schopenhauer is trying to get down below and take the midpoint, but unlike last time, he is contested by Tifun, Fabrosian, and Kriven. The Light Lance, they're trying to look for picks. Meanwhile, ooh, Kriven taking some bad hits from the covering sniper fire. And those lights, I don't think they're going to be able to hold that. SJR, their mediums and heavies have taken up on the stage, and again, those trades are definitely not going their way. Legal department down to 82%, Soul down to 76%. Meanwhile, I mean, the trades are spread out on SJR's side, but they're focused onto the specific people, Seleth and Rithen, who have overextended at times. And if SJR can convert that damage into an actual kill, then all this damage they're taking is worth it. But EMP is spread out. They've got their guys, a bunch in the middle, a bunch on the E4 side. They've got multiple angles of fire, where SJR is going to be fairly contained here. And you see strikes going out both sides, just trying to pick up some advantage. Heimdallite and Twinkie here, they're the real anchors on EMP's side, holding down the middle position with those large lasers. And that's basically optimal for them. SJR is just now picking up Epsilon to the north, so that's only going to give them 2 points. EMP already has Kappa. They've got their lights just screening that flank, making sure they're not getting looped around by the lights. And SJR needs to put some sort of attack together. It looks like that's what they're doing. They're going to group up, and they're going to be pushing left, down into E4. Now what they're looking to do is, or rather E6, what they're looking to do is just keep Rithen, Imminent, and Seleth over here, out of the fight, rotate away from them, and then look for a pick on these Stalkers.
And it looks like those three are staying stationary over there, so if SGR can get in here quick enough, it might go their way.
Maybe, but the thing is, if you look at where Heim and Twinkie are, they have the cover to just ridge peek on. So even if SJR charges out, they can just pop over and be back with the majority of their team. So SJR is going to have to pull some... It's not going to be just a straight charge. They have to put some sort of like left-right into this to push them back one way and then jump over to the side and possibly get onto the mediums instead. In the meantime, they're putting this push together. SJR is going.
Magician way out front, but he's going to be okay if he can get to cover here.
Heavy damage on SJR's side. Gummin, Legal Department, and Soul down to 63%. Highest is like 85%. Legal is down in that Stormcrow. And no damage back.
Nice strike.
Oh my god, that strike
Oof.
just nuked 6 of SJR. So this is the rotation that I was saying. They have to go left, right to try and get some isolations through this middle gap. And they go on Fission. They take them down to 45%. EMP is trying to cut over the ridge, get to the back, and then just catch up to the tail end of this SJR push. SJR seeing this, they're now reversing. Oh my god, strike right down in the middle of both of
One down on each
SJR.
side,
That takes
two
out
down.
Gummin. Massive damage onto the rest of the team. So 2 down SJR, 3 down. EMP in the lead solidly. Evening up a little, the Stalker goes down. This could be
This is definitely going EMP's way here. The damage is just way in favor. EMP way
Yeah,
too
those
many fresh
strikes
mechs.
on the push, were brutal, and those early trades definitely went to EMP's favor. The light lance for EMP came in. They kind of started doing what we're talking about, just getting backs and turning people during this fight. And the core here of Imminent Proton Heim Fission, they were able to wrap around the back and just pin down SJR. Now it's just Tiefun and Fibrosian left in those lights, just for cleanup time for EMP.
Nice strike, but too little too late. And Imperial takes the first match. And you can definitely see EMP got better damage numbers there. I mean, look at Pertnips's... I don't know
Proton.
what the...
That's Proton.
Is that Proton? I was like, what
That's
the
Proton.
hell is that? Why have I never seen that name before? But yeah, wow. 3 kills, 607 damage. And Twinkie doing well, and Selith. So...
The difference, what murdered that push, it's the same thing that happened in Drop 4 of the first series, the strikes. There were, again, 3 or 4 massive strikes right into the middle of the SJR push that easily 150 or 200 damage apiece. I'm looking at this, and the highest score on SJR's side is 328, and that's in a Raven, so some of that damage is in garbage time by the time the match is already decided. So...
yeah, it was definitely well played by EMP, and honestly, I think they were getting the better trades at the beginning too. I mean, SJR ultimately had to do that push because they were not trading nearly as well as EMP. EMP still had what? I want to say 5 or 6 mechs that were still at like a straight 100% after that initial trading phase.
Well, see, there's good and bad to it. What happened to SJR is that the damage they took was pretty spread out, and that's fine if you can focus fire enough to get a kill out of it for the damage that you put out. And normally that's actually what you want, is to make all the damage on your team be spread out and all the ones on them be a kill. But where it went wrong is that their shots on Selith, yes, it put him to crit, but he was able to just fade away, stay to the back, and keep all of his healthy teammates in front of him.
Same for that Stormcrow that made it out of the center. Yeah,
Fission as well. He was down to 40% and he scurried away up and over the ridge. That position in the middle for EMP, like I said, any side that it was approached from, you jump over to the other one and you're safe. So, like, there were the opportunities for the kills. It just didn't happen for SJR there. And when they had to put the push together with everybody down to like 80%, normally you're going to throw whoever is healthiest just to the front, because they'll tank for longer, they'll get everybody else into position. But in that case where everybody is not healthy, then not a good option anywhere, really. Whoever you send is going to die pretty quick. So... And the things that allowed that to happen were EMP's spread early on. They were stretched between E4, F5, and right on up on Theta. So they basically had 3 main concentrations of firepower, whereas SJR just had the 1 on the stage. And we've talked about this before, but having a concave and multiple angles is really good for you, as it forces the opponent to... There's too many angles. You expect to be shooting one location, and you're just popped from the other before you can even respond. So,
and I'll also say that EMP posted a couple of their Ravens way up on, I want to say, the Epsilon side of the map, up on those high points, and they were just a constant pest, you know, firing those large ER larges in there that also helped whittle SJR down on the way in.
Yeah. I don't even know if those were in range until the push. They definitely weren't in the trade phase. But what it does, they were in Gulf 6 specifically, down in the middle south bit. And from there, they have line of sight straight down into the stage where SJR is trying to trade from. And I'm sorry, Paul, but Mark 1 eyeball, all the scouting you need, and why is everybody dropping lobby? And so anytime SJR tried to like move side to side, those Ravens saw it ahead of time, and EMP would be prepped.
Very well played defensively for EMP. That they got up early, and like you said, it really is all about the kills. There are a lot of people that are, say, well, kills are worthless in this game. I did the most damage. And it's like, really, especially at high levels of this game, kills matter so very much because, I'm sure we've all had a round where, we're down to 20, 30%, 6%, whatever at the end, and you've still got guns. You're still shooting people. It doesn't matter all the damage in the world if that mech is still firing weapons. And so you've definitely got to capitalize on those opportunities.
Alright, I'm just catching up on chat here. Pisces, you blame me, I blame you. It's even.
I also blame him, so it's not even. You win.
Excellent.
That's how democracy works.
Obviously. Alright. So. Next match. Skirmish.
Yeah, so now SJR is going to have to make... Well, they don't have to. I've never seen it yet, but they could just camp and go for a tie if they wanted to and put it at 2-1. But usually teams take this opportunity to push. That's the whole way this alternating conquest skirmish thing works. Heimdallite and I believe Vils actually came up with this rule set, and it really does what it's intended to do, in that it promotes quick fights that are not static, not camping. One team always has the incentive to push, whether that's because they can win on caps or when it's the skirmish because they're down on games and they need to get back up. So definitely expect some sort of attack from SJR in this one, and I can also definitely imagine an EMP turtle getting some really nice defensive position on this map and just sort of waiting it out. If they did that, where are the best places on the map to camp?
Well, see, here's the thing. SJR took side 2, and they're basically obligated to take side 2 for skirmish. Just because right in Gulf 6, I'll highlight this in a second. In Gulf 6, there's an area right underneath this set of crystals that you can hide out, and you're perfectly safe from strikes. The only way to approach that is from the east in G8, and that's low ground, very close, very exposed. You're going to have a hell of a time fighting up the ridge, which is right here. And the other approach is down Gulf 5. Again, easily scoutable, easily exposed to this really tall ridge right here. Or you go sort of like this all the way around and you come up like H4. Just basically any way you approach this position, the shots are bad. So for skirmish, you do not want to give the team that is up, the team that is allowed to camp, that position. So SJR took side 2 just to deny that to EMP. Now, if EMP wants, there are a few locations they can use from side 1. They're not as strong as this Gulf 6 turtle, which is frankly ridiculous. Like, it's not cave, it's not forest colony cave levels of camp, but it's pretty bad.
And you can see that in the EMP 228th game that took place in the winners bracket semifinals, I believe. That is what EMP did to 228th, and especially because of the reduced 10-minute match time limit, it really was difficult for them to get all of their mechs in position even to do a charge, and when they did, it was it was a pretty convincing EMP victory. So
It was basically a rout. But the other side, sort of like the C5, C6 high, is best you can get. Maybe a Gamma Turtle, like all the way back here in the very northeast, but eh. They could do it, and they could certainly pull it off, but I don't know. They could go for sort of a more standard play, take E4, take the stage, and just play it out normal, more or less, but...
yeah, it's a tough choice. And in Skirmish, remember that there's no drop deck limitations in terms of classes. It's just tonnage based. So if they wanted to take a bunch of, fast, medium, and light mechs and just sort of try to kite it out and hope that worked, they could actually probably do that. It would be kind of a dick move, but they could manage it. It'll be interesting to see what kind of decks they take, because, when you take a Direwolf, you're sacrificing a ton of speed on your team to bring that extra firepower, whereas if you go with a more uniform deck that's something like, basically all Hellbringers, Stormcrows, and Firestarters, because Arctic Cheetahs are not allowed in this league, it plays out a lot differently.
Now, one thing that we didn't see in the last match, and that we saw in the last series, was Selith and his super long-range quick draw. Now, it makes sense. In Conquest, it's going to be a fight around the central point. So, not really as much time for those long-range pokes. But I think it would not be surprising to see that reprised in this match with... because I think it's like 800 meter optimal range, more than that probably, on the ER large lasers. And on the match where he brought it, he was able to basically single-handedly tear down and corral SJR into the kill box where EMP took it. So he could have that. SJR could have learned, and they could have brought their own sort of specialized long-range snipers and to counter him, or maybe do the exact same thing if EMP doesn't have the same sort of poke, but...
What are Nightbot and Moobot?
Those are some auto-moderator things for Twitch chat, but they suck. Anarchy for the win.
Yeah, that's sort of how I feel about my stream, Everybody that bitches about us moderating, on Outreach, whatever. Sorry. We enforce
Well, it does do a
that's why you
giveaway
come to
thing.
my stream.
It does the giveaway thing, so you don't have to no pants.
Oh, yeah, the giveaways. Yeah. I should probably open that Excel sheet and do stuff, but I'm really hoping the PGI just takes the lead and start throwing premium time at people like loose change.
I'm just going to comment on one thing that's happening in the lobby. EMP is doing this really pro lobby join thing, because there's a total tonnage counter on for your team, and normally if you just join one by one, if the enemy is being smart and noting it, they'll see how much that tonnage is jumping up by. So what MP is doing is they're inviting the entire team, and then they all accept at once.
See, I feel
So
like
all
that
you
might
see
have
is the
actually
number
caused
just-
problems, and now I can't get in.
Oh, what?
Because it was like, yeah, it's full, and it's like,
Wait, did you not take the invite in time?
I guess not. I didn't realize that I couldn't go directly to a spec slot.
No, you go into the team that you have to be dragged over, so if you didn't join... Yeah. You're being dragged over.
Okay, so
Hope you didn't
somebody
have the stream
dropped
up.
so I could join and... Okay,
Yeah.
okay. PGI, please fix that. Do not want... Not that that's exactly
Also,
high
give
priority.
option to hide tonnage. Not big deal, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever. I feel like it's like, yeah, want all this stuff for these private matches that we do, like, they probably make up maybe 1
Actually,
or 2% of the games being played in
hold up,
total,
hold up.
if that.
This is one, since Paul is here, feedback on Spec Tool, the tab side menu with all the list of mechs. If we could get that sorted by tonnage, that'd be...
Actually, Paul, I wrote up a huge-ass document and sent it to Tina, and you guys should have gotten that with all of my recommendations for Spectator, so, and that is included. So, if you have not looked at that document, please do it. I would kill for some of these controls bound to the controller so I don't have to use keyboard. I would literally kill people. Just name who you want. I'll get it done.
There's this homeless Bill guy, so...
Well, not me. I'm ruling out me. Pick somebody you don't like
Right.
on the forums. Victor Morrison, whatever.
I just did. Alright, I'm gonna step away for like 10 seconds, just refill my water bottle, and we should be into match by then.
A drink sounds pretty good right now. So, viewers, enjoy the silence. I'm back too, but I regret not getting alcohol. I feel like alcohol starts at like game 3, probably.
We'll see. Depends how close this series goes. Closer it is, more drinking we do. Anywho.
Obviously, that's the way it goes.
We got anything else to say before this starts up?
Not really. I'm hoping for a really ballsy, aggressive play from SJR here that works out. I'd love to see another 1-1-1-1-1, going back and forth between wins and losses. That was a lot of fun to watch, especially because it makes those conquest matches really what they're supposed to be. It's like when the teams are even. I feel like we're in match. Sure enough.
Yep.
So here we go, round 2. EMP won the first game. Let's try to remember all these buttons. Nailed it.
Okay. SJR's side, we have time to do all the counting. 5 Hellbringers, 3 Timberwolves, 1 Raven. Things are hopping. Things are jumping around. Is it lagging? Everybody is stopping. Mechs are warping. Could just be me.
I don't know. I'm seeing a little bit of jankiness here, but I don't really know. Definitely looks like a lot of ER large lasers for EMPs and their Thunderbolts and Quick Draws and Ravens. And it looks like that's all they brought. 1 Hellbringer for ECM and a Timberwolf to round out the deck.
Yeah, those 2 quick draws, Selith and Heimdallite, the arguably like the crack shots, the loners, the independents who like to just range around and be aggressive. They're putting those in their hands, and they'll just be looking for shots the whole game. Just off on the side. Any case, both teams are actually moving up. Neither side is camping. SJR is... They're going around the high side, trying to make their way to E4, it looks like. Oh, who's this caught out in the open? That's Jaguar. He's caught out in the open and getting torn up by Selith and Heim at the moment. He did not take the safe route over to join the rest of his team. In fact, that's what we're seeing right now, is just those quick draws outranging everything from SJR's side. They're up here on these crystals. They have high shoulder-mounted peaks, and all of SJR's return fire, if they can even hit over the lip of these crystals, is going to be well out of range. And
you can see the damage numbers. It's a totally different story on both of these teams.
Yeah, I'm liable to call this a loss just off those initial trades.
I would agree.
But SJR's choice here is they just have to man up. They have to ram this push straight into EMP, and even then, these side shots, they're just continuing. Look at these quick draws.
And now they've pretty much moved into all of EMP's view, so this is gonna... One down for SJR. Another 3 down
And
to red.
I mean, damage is not completely off of EMP. Selith at 60%, Fission at 51%. These are guys who are receiving the brunt of the push. EMP is dropping down. They're swinging around trying to get to the right-hand side of SJR's push. SJR is picking up the 2 guys who were left over there. It was Fission. Actually, it was just Fission. The other guys managed to get out. Imminent goes down now, actually. SJR has to turn this around and receive the counter push from EMP in good form. It's actually 3-2, but lots of damage all across SJR's side. EMP is fairly healthy. 5 down there. Now SJR is starting to crumble with all of those crippled mechs going down. 6-2, 7-2, and it was mech choice. It was entirely mech choice on this. Just hard countered that push.
Yep, Magician from Barosian. Last one's left for SJR. I really sort of don't think SJR was, you know, prepared for like a real fight. I don't know if they thought the EMP was just going to camp or something, but it was...
Well, it was the... they didn't bring the right tools to this match. I think maybe they thought that those quick draws were just going to be too hot to use on maybe this desert map, but I mean, they saw it, they were aware of it from last series, so I don't really have a good reason for why they would be unaware and get hard countered so badly.
Yeah, the approach definitely was not ideal there. It was, you know, Jaeger got caught out in the open, and I think the whole team had to commit at that point. I don't know if the rest of their team was sort of following that path and Jaeger just happened to be out front, but...
well, the SJR game plan was that they come up here quick with those 90km/h mechs, they get onto E4, and then they just do a quick push. But the thing is, with those quick draws up top, like I said, normally you're not going to be in range for most of your laser vomit. You can cross this safely. But with the quick draws, no. You're going to be taking full damage, and you are completely exposed for that. Let's have, yeah, Selith, 563, Heimdallite, 266, Twinkie, 525.
And those were ER larges, of course, in all the SSs.
Yeah. Yeah, that dropped out, just Thunderbolt 5 SS. They picked mechs that were more suitable for the engagement that would happen.
They might be redropping this.
What? Why?
Okay, hang on. They were holding due to lag. Oh my god.
And then...
Oh, Jesus. Okay. I don't really know. I'm just gonna quote what Mag's telling me in, like, it seems like the servers are shitty. They somebody called hold. They, like, EMP didn't hold and they got up top and started shooting. Okay, series gone. I don't know what's going on, viewers, but I really hope that this final isn't delayed.
In just a second, I'm gonna try and figure out what's going on.
Yeah, please do. Let me know. I don't know. You know what? I'm just not going to speculate until Siri gets back with a real answer, because oh, geez. I really don't want this to be an admin decision. Oh, God.
User joined your channel.
Okay, so what I'm getting so far is that the first minute and a half was laggy, and chat messages weren't even going through, so...
User left your channel.
Ugh, server problems. Why did you have to happen tonight? Ugh. You know what I really don't want to do, kids, is make an admin decision that has something to do with deciding the final match with money and stuff. Oh, man. Ah.
User joined your channel.
Yeah, I don't know, but
Yeah, they're asking me to decide whether there's gonna be a fucking redrop or not. This is shit, because no matter what I decide, somebody is gonna be super pissed off with me. Oh, fuck. Oh, God.
it's already gone by on stream, right?
Yeah, it's already gone by on the stream. I don't think we'd be able to see it anyways, because I was over on the EMP side for the beginning of the match. Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, viewers, gonna have to give me a minute here while I think about this one. This is the only way
No,
I
hold
know
up,
how to
hold
do
up.
this. I
They're
got
talking it out. Give it a second.
Oh, this is the worst. Why? God, I just wanted this to go. Well, there is no rule about, well,
User
hold
joined
was
your channel.
called, maybe it wasn't. Jesus.
Let me see if it's come up on stream, the actual archive yet.
What do you mean the archive? Can't rewind, can you? Mag, what happened? Can you give me your thoughts on this?
Right when
it's
we get in, we have huge lag, right? So we can't even move. So, I mean, some of us couldn't move, some people could, just like kind of before. They called
User
hold
was
at one
moved to your
point,
channel.
and I don't know, it got confusing then because all of a sudden it was like, oh, well, go, it's better, but we're still like figuring out if it's even better at that point. They already had mechs all positioned by the time we even could get going, by the time we even really took a step anywhere.
And so they called stop because they were seeing lag at the
Yeah,
beginning?
they're like,
or
hold,
you
and
were?
it's go, and it's not even...
The chat messages are synced in the server, and that we didn't see any chat messages send. Like, when did the server fix itself? And, Zoom works and everything. The server
About a
fixed
minute
itself.
in is when
Yeah,
we
about
started
a minute
moving.
in, and then the entire chat just came down. Like when chat itself, like literally said, "My chat isn't working." So the chat is synced
God.
up to the server. There's no way for the chat to be different for either of our teams, and that it all just collected and sent down 50 messages at once indicates that even no matter like if something was called or something wasn't called, it doesn't matter.
Jesus. This is not the decision I wanted to make.
Why did we keep fighting if there was lag?
Yeah, I mean, like, why was... There's my real question. Why the
There
fuck
wasn't
was a
lag.
redrop not called? Like...
See, that chat message that you have in that link position, that all came at one point. Like, okay, I guess 40 seconds in. About. That all came at once. Quickie has a video recording.
I mean,
We were
like...
still holding even at that point. I mean, honestly, we didn't at least another, I don't know, seconds, because it was like, okay, if we're holding, trying to see if it's working again, but we can watch the stream, and we saw you guys. I mean, even on the stream, you guys never stopped moving. So I don't know what to tell
Not all
you.
of us were like experiencing lag. Like we didn't really know what was happening.
Yeah.
Either way, these initial movements in the beginning of the game had no bearing on the outcome of the match. Honestly, it really did not. Like,
I mean, you say that, but it's like the fact that they got up there so late really put them in a terrible fucking spot. So it did.
they went around like around 1,200 meters on the right side to that hill. That would have been seen no matter like no matter like when we started moving.
God. Give me like 30 seconds to think. This is just going to be a shit call either way.
I mean, it's not the best situation in the world, Bill. I mean, I'm not going to deny that, but
I know. Siri, did you see anything? Is it on the restream? Anything? It's like...
Yeah, give me a second.
Well, honestly, I feel like I gotta go with no redrop. Because there was no redrop called, and I have no grounds for, well, maybe hold was called, maybe it wasn't, because it's like, SGR's mechs were moving again. I don't...
Bill,
What?
Read chat.
if he called a hold in chat, the chat all came at once, like 40 seconds into the game. Just 50 messages, like, streaming down.
Then 40 seconds into the game, it goes to the other team, and they hold because it's been called.
At 40 seconds into the game, the game fixed itself. And then chat messages immediately after were saying, go, 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 go. Like, Heim literally typed, go, 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 go.
Well, it wasn't immediately after, and you can't call hold and say go, and then you choose when you're going. But whatever, we'll play.
Yeah, I'm gonna call a no redrop. Yeah.
Sorry for that situation, Bill?
No worries. Okay. Will both teams please do a lag check at the beginning of matches? Like, please.
Well, wait a minute.
Test it.
If the server is laggy...
Test for 1 minute. I do not want this happening again.
I'll tell my guys to wait 1 minute in the beginning of the game, and then
I'm going to tell Mag too.
tell SJR. Okay.
Yep.
User was moved out of your channel.
Wait, shit. How is that going to fucking work? Ah, Jesus.
What do you mean?
Okay, whatever. I'll just say test lag until 1 minute. But fuck, what if they move up? Oh man, this is just a mess. Why did server problems have to happen tonight?
They just won't move until they get a double confirmation through chat to both sides. It's fine. We do this all the time when there's a disconnect or something.
Okay, I need to tell Adi that. Where did he go? Damn it. Do you know how to get a hold of him? Are you on another server? Can you tell them double chat confirmation? Alright. I'm gonna trust you on this one. Oh. Sorry, viewers. This is totally not how I wanted this to go down, and I hate making shitty choices like this. Oh, man. Well, I guess it's not as bad as having to sync drop, but it's
It's worse, really.
I hate calls like this. I don't want league admins to have any place in like deciding outcomes of matches, but it's like, you know, ultimately I thought that EMP probably did have that either way, and that if SGR really wanted, you know, to pause or do a redrop, that their whole team needed to stop moving and really like stop. Hey, we're still experiencing lag, whatever. Better to be safe than sorry. I just can't. I can't take a solid win from EMP on a who knows what was going on when people were still moving and whatnot. Maybe the wrong call, but I don't think there was a right call. I think people are going to hate me either way, so hate on, kids.
I will say that based on drop composition, I think that EMP would have won that anyways. So,
especially if SGR took that approach. You know, maybe
well,
if they'd made it up there sooner, it would have mattered, but I sort of doubt it.
Balance of probabilities, I'd call that like a 70-30 match if it was replayed in real time with no lag issues. So, yeah. All right. Well, oh wait, we have to leave lobby so we can get invited to the new lobby.
Okay, leave lobby. Yeah, I gotta get in there and accept the invites. And,
all right.
Oh, man.
Alright, well, fingers crossed we're not going to have any more lag issues because the servers are going to be perfect.
Definitely.
Right?
That's how it's going to work. It really is just about the worst times for the servers to start crapping out. But unless people start having like 500 pings across the board, we're playing this out. This tournament is being over today, damn it. It's gone on far too long. I don't even know what to fill dead air with
justified. After that, I feel perfectly justified busting out the whiskey. So,
you know, that sounds like a pretty solid plan, I gotta say. Okay, I just got the invite. Sure, Mag and half of SGR hates me now, but hey, whatever. Every decision I've made so far has been unpopular to someone or both parties when it's been a compromise, so, you know, good stuff.
Okay, so let's try and get this a little back focused after that absolute headache that we just had.
Yeah, you get back into that,
2-0.
And I'm gonna pour some terrible drink. Yeah, I should probably update the score on our awesome little thing that Farp Noodle made here. So right now it is 2-0 EMP. We're going back to Conquest 3-3-3-3. So another evened up match where SGR does not have to push.
So 2-0. There is a chance. There's a chance, but SJR is going to have to step up the game from what they've been playing. The first match alone, just let's just look at that, so that there's no controversy about that other one. That one was still decidedly EMP's favor. They had the concave, and the sort of trades, just the pushes did not go well for SJR. They're gonna have to change something up. They're gonna have to. I think, personally, my opinion is that changing up some of the drop decks, even though they may not have perfectly practiced with it, incorporating some of those specialized trade mechs is going to be necessary if they're going to pull this out. They're going to have to look for some sort of asymmetric advantage, because they absolutely have not been getting it. And unlike other matches, on this one it's just the one map. And it is absolutely fair to say that some teams are better at a map than others, or than other maps. They have maps they prefer. And it looked like last series that both teams were equally prepared, equally comfortable with Mining Collective. They busted out different strats. They had a very tight strategy, no matter which side they were on. And this time around, it feels like EMP knows their positions. They know this is how we're spreading out. These mechs, we're putting exactly these two like up high. We're getting a concave and multiple lines of fire like so. And SJR's strat has seemed to be brute forcing it into a push. So let's see how it evolves. Let's see if they can. They've done clever things in the past with Conquest, especially flipping what seems to be a losing fight into suddenly a 4-1 cap advantage. So that sort of, I think if they have a way back into this, probably that clever cap work might be the answer they're looking for. But we'll see.
Well, I would just like to say that I've returned with a glass of the worst whiskey I have ever drank. It's terrible. The real question is whether I'm going to be able to make it through this whole thing. This is...
Cheers.
God. Well, looks like SJR is all in lobby. Still no EMP yet.
That's because I have to be moved into the spectator slot. There we go. Now we should be getting EMP in here pretty quick. So.
We've got a lot of PGI in chat, and I just want to say that I blame all of you for that. That was very unfun for me. But, whatever. It's not like they can fix server problems like that. Oh yeah, things are janky for like 30 seconds at the beginning of some matches. Every now and then, sometimes. Ah, yes.
Well,
very
that's the
repeatable.
thing,
My
is that
favorite kind of bug. Oh, man.
That's the thing, is that apparently the servers from their diagnostics are looking perfectly fine.
That's how it is. I mean, I'm a game developer. This is the kind of crap I see all day. You get bug reports, and it's like, yeah, 10% repeatability, and you sit there all day and try it 50 times, and it doesn't work, and it's a mess. So I understand on this one. There's nothing they could have done on this one. Just a hiccup that ended up being
it's
really,
affecting
really
only
ugly.
half the people. It's affecting, like was being mentioned, like half to 3/4 of the people. Most likely network issues somewhere down the pipe. And you're right, that's not really PGI's fault. It's just rip.
Yeah, weren't like Australian and some other players getting routed like terribly, so they still ended up having like Australian pings even on oceanic servers? So ISPs can really do some fun stuff.
Alright, we're now getting EMP into match.
I'm gonna turn on my lava lamp. I need it. Need some comfort right now. Hold me tight, lava lamp. Tightly? Is tightly the adverb? I don't know. I feel like people in stream chat enjoyed my suffering a lot more than they should have. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Really looking forward to the outreach drama for sure. A double whammy. I have to make a shitty decision, and then I get to clean up the mess that happens afterward.
You missed step 1.5 where you tried to escape responsibility by flipping a coin.
I did. I was like, well,
it's your job. You get paid. This is how you get a house.
I don't get paid. See, that's the thing, is when people are like, yeah, you're an admin, this is your job. No, job implies some sort of compensation. Like,
take a single
like somebody's
dollar
there
from the prize
paid.
pool. Take a single dollar from the prize pool. You are now a paid employee.
I really thought about
You have to
stealing a
report
bunch
to
of
the
those
IRS.
MC codes. I gotta be honest. Like, sitting there with a spreadsheet full of, like, 3 billion MC, you're just like, yeah, man, what if I just took one? But I've been good.
Paul, I
especially
would
'cause
recommend a
haven't
quick
seen all of
audit.
it.
I would recommend a quick audit of Bill's account. Make sure he hasn't embezzled anything. And while you're at it, do not look at mine.
Yeah. Shiliothorax.
Anywho, should be about 30 seconds to Game 3, match point. SJR's got to keep alive. I'm seeing some interesting things in lobby that I'll comment on once we're in, specifically the tonnage difference.
I kind of want to look, but then it'll show the viewers. Not that it matters, it's a 5-minute delay, but I'm gonna save the surprise.
Teams are going back and forth in the lobby. Seems like they are issuing a bat shawl to make it arty strikes and flamers only.
What? If you're lying to me, I'm gonna be so pissed off. Cause that is what I'd like to see. Especially if it was no armor. No armor, flamers, and strikes. Well, let's see. I guess I should probably finish up my thank yous to fill some dead space here, because I did forget a couple. Gearheart made the Major League MechWarrior logo, which I was too stupid and or lazy to put up in the middle of the screen, but it's totally on the website, so thank you, Gearheart. And Snaffit's the one that I really forgot to mention, who made that awesome bracket thing on the Major League MechWarrior website. Really clean, really professional, has like all the match details and all that kind of stuff in it. Snaffit's, the guy who made the Snaffit's Quirk site. If you have not checked out Snaffit's Quirk site, you should totally do that. It's the best place to go for all your Quirk information needs. That is in the, I want to say, the resources section of the Outreach toolbar. Resources and tools, Snaffit's Quirk list, yes. So, awesome site, kind of like Smurfy. You know, not as prevalent, but I always liked it a lot better for quirks. So thank you to him. And as much as this has been quite a pain in the ass at times, I gotta say thank you to Heimdallite for setting all this up. You know, the website, the forums, the rules, all the other crap. I had to do a bunch of work to make it happen, but ultimately he is responsible for making this tournament happen. So thanks, man. It was a lot of fun to cast, and well, not run this, but to cast this, it was. So, good enough. Oh yeah, and financial
live in
contributors.
match.
Oh, good. Thank God.
Teams are just going to be testing for lag once it starts for about 30 seconds. The difference that I was commenting on is that SJR has again brought the 2 Direwolves and a Stalker, whereas EMP is going for the triple Stalker. That was a 30-ton difference. I'm looking for the other 30-ton difference. How EMP is lighter. Aha! They brought Thunderbolt. 1 Thunderbolt. That doesn't really account for the weight difference I was seeing. Might have changed. So there'll be no shenanigans during this drop. Both teams are going to be double confirming with the other before anybody moves.
And they did, and they are moving.
And looks like we're both live. Yep, we are both live. Alright, so EMP is going to be starting in the southwest. It's Conquest again. Looks like they're going for basically the same deal. Exact same as the first match. It's not broke, don't fix it. Rhythm, Selith, Imminent over here doing the trades. Timberwolf, Stalker, Thunderbolt. While their mediums and the other heavies move up to the mid, covered by Twinkie and Heim in the Stalkers on the right. SJR is... They're trying to make use of the Tourmalines this time. They're going up on the crystals, something they hadn't done before. Soul's up there. They're in the stage again, trying to take some trades, but looks like they're just trying to be a little bit smarter about it. Last time, what really lost them in the first match was just some absolutely terrible trades from the stage here. And looks to be working out so far. Cornite and the Direwolf, he's down to 78%. On the other hand, Heimdallite and Rhythm and their Stalkers are down to 80 and 75 respectively.
Heimdallite taking head damage, so probably not a big deal at all unless they get a lucky shot and clip him there again.
Now, EMP has 3 caps. They've taken the middle, they've taken the side. Their lights again are working the Kappa angle. But it's going to be at least another 5 or 6 minutes before SJR is in danger, so they're just focused on the trades right now. And unlike previous matches, it seems to be going in their favor. They now put damage additionally on Fission and Proton and Ex Machina in the Stormcrows. And it's going back and forth, pretty even. I'd like to have just like a damage counter for both teams to see how much they've done so far, but... Ooh, okay, here are the G-Man, Magician, and Legal off that last strike. They've dropped down to 70% each, and G-Man's Hellbringer is taking some bad trades. SJR, their lights have ranged off down into E6. You'll see Fabrosian, Kriven, and Tifun off on the right-hand side here. And they're going to be trying to creep up a little, see what's going on down by Kappa, just scout it out. They didn't see exactly how EMP was running that flank before. Tifun in that Raven, he's going to keep poking with those large lasers, just try and poke Aduvo's Firestarter back a little bit.
And if SJR's lights get in behind here, they could either do the cap or do some serious damage and take out those Ravens sitting up on the posts.
Yeah, it's quite a gully that they'd have to cross to actually get an engagement on those lights, so I don't think there's going to be anything massive. But jumping back to the main engagement, G-Man is now down to 59%, Legal Department down to 57%. Those are Cornite down to 63%. Those are the lowest 3 on the SJR side, and the important one there is Cornite. He's in the Direwolf, and he's trying to anchor down the northern flank for SJR. Him and Carnage are just tag teaming that, and EMP's doing a good job of just focusing out Cornite when he peaks. Carnage is at 89%, and they're synchronizing the peaks. Like, they're both exposed the same amount, but EMP is saying, go after the black one, the one on the left, because their paint camos are different, or camo jobs are different, so... Oh! Damn, Legal just got rocked for like 13% by that strike, and it rolled over onto the Direwolves. That's pretty nice airstrike positioning.
Checking on Rhythm right now, down to 48%, and he is cord CT in that Stalker. He's got about 1 hit left before he goes down, only half his weapons.
Yeah, he's got his right arm, so what he's doing is he's just parking right here. Anything that peaks, he'll just shoot and get down. So he's staying active, but he's staying involved, but he's not being active. Because where he is in E4, it's the drawback to this position. You can't run. Once your enemy sets up, unless you force them back, you can't run out of it.
EMP splitting up here. 2 Stormcrows going down to chase those lights away from Kappa and go to recap it. So that might leave EMP exposed if there's a push. But I don't know that SJR's seen it.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think EMP's positions are good enough that if SJR was to trigger a push, they would end up getting slaughtered in the open. It's just that ridge in the middle is just excellent cover. So what SJR is doing instead, they just put a strike down, and they're trying to get any sort of damage from that. Unfortunately, all of the shots RNG'd away from Meduvo. He only took a single % of damage, and those Stormcrows are going to fall back. SJR's lights already bailed out, so they're not going to get any transitory pick damage on that.
Selithan, his Timberwolf, still has all his weapons, both side torsos open and not doing well.
Yeah, he's down to 55%. This is going to be... We're down to 4 minutes. It's 467 points on cap. I hope you have that up on your stream. Yeah, it looks like you do.
I do. So SJR's going to have to put something together quick.
Yeah, they've got about 2 minutes before it's really, really dangerous and all hope is gone. So, well, probably about a minute now until they actually...
side now. SJR could catch a couple of those weak mechs and take them out here. Yep, sure enough, Celis' right torso goes down. All that's left is that left torso.
Yeah, SJR is putting together a pretty aggressive push through the stage onto Theta. Piemaker is hopping on, trying to decap that. They lose Legal Department. He was the one who was most chip damaged earlier. Core Knight is down to 35%. They take out Imminent and the Thunderbolt down the mid.
And Rhythm goes down right after. Celis slipped away in the Timber.
Magician goes down. So this is pretty even right now. It's a close-range knife brawl. Oh, Soul. Soul is running ahead of this push, and he's going to get absolutely murdered here.
And
yeah, he's gone.
It's a
he
nice
didn't see those guys to his
EMP.
right.
I was going to say, why is there not a strike in front of that EMP group right there? Wow. And SJR's
it's just down
took the worst of that.
4 mechs left for SJR. That cap pressure was too much, and like I said, abandoned cover positions for EMP were good enough that they got punished for it. And what happened here is, if you look, you have Ex Machina and Schopenhauer. They were ahead of this push, sort of off on the left, and just a clear shot down this gully. And the VMP was right on this middle position. There's one little passage, one entrance, and as soon as you silhouette in there, it's just easy focus fire target. That happened to Soul, and he was dead immediately. Tiefun and Cribben, running for the life, doesn't matter. It's
yeah, too many fresh mechs on EMP side. They're down on caps, and EMP is going to take this series 3-0. I wish I didn't have to make the call I did, but shit happens, and it happens. EMP really played these two Conquest matches like pros here.
all right.
And that is the end of Major League Mech Warrior right there. EmpyreaL takes the grand prize of nearly $1,300. SJR following up with about $850 for second place. So congratulations to both teams for making this far, and congratulations to EMP for taking it in the final. And you can see that damage spread much better on EmpyreaL's side. You know, quite a few SJR players down in the 100s, which, you know, is not double digit, but you got to have people over 200 in these competitive matches, or it ends up being a liability.
Yeah, and they got themselves into a similar position that they did the first time, where EMP had their concave already set up. They had their game plan down. That was pretty damn evident with that positional setup. And SJR tried to just tighten up their play a little bit and take better trades, and for the large part they were. The problem was that their strategy as a whole didn't have the cap control that they needed. Part of that's just asymmetric maps, honestly. Like we've said this before, one side is advantage to the other, but that's something you have to deal with and come up with strategies to counteract. So
I'm, of course, being classy in stream chat.
And spoiling the match on delay, asshole. Lel. But
whatever. If people were not expecting that from Heim at this point, come on, what the hell's going on? You know, gotta have a couple of trolls in the community, and god damn it, he's good at it. So let it stand. Well, that was definitely not what I wanted to see. I wanted us to go to 3-2. I wanted to not make a decision that influenced the outcome of this match, but that is not the way it went, viewers. So, oh well. First series was a really good set of games. This one, definitely EMP looked more practiced and more ready on their strategies. I think that they put in the work on this map. And even when I was playing with Herp, I don't know, I want to say 2-3 weeks ago, he even said, I'm sick of Tourmaline. You know, whenever we got enough guys on to scrim, even like 4v4, we're doing a lot of that. We're playing Tourmaline all the time. So I think they really put in the work here, and they were hungry for that victory. So there you go. Thank you to everyone who's played in this league. You know, it's been great. Even the teams were eliminated early. You know, some of the best fights we had were early on, and I wish we could have gotten more of them casted, but had a lot of fun. And maybe gonna do a next season, but don't know if I want to be league admin again, and I will be bailing out sort of next year. So, don't know, but I will definitely announce plans if there are any.
Okay.
I love how salty people are in chat about I'm ruining it. Why were you not watching full screen? Viewers. Come on, you should know better than that. But, whatever.
We clear? We still on?
No, we're still here. We're still
still on.
talking.
Okay.
I feel like I should wrap this up with the final, last batch of thank yous for everybody that wasn't there. Thank you again to PGI for donating $1,000 worth of prizes, advertising, doing all the other crap. Tina in particular, you were amazing. You know, Nico was fine, whatever. Garth was fine, but you've been so immensely helpful. I'm glad you are our new community manager. Thank you to everyone that donated. Thank you to Heimdelight who put up the initial $500, putting his balls on the line. He won it back, but you know what? He put the money up in the first place, so got to give him credit there. And, you know, all the other people I mentioned, Snaffits for making the stuff, the bracket tool on the website, Cheerheart for designing the logo, all of the casters, especially Army of One that helped me out on this, financial contributors, Zyga One, Direwolves Alpha Regiment, Lithrim, QQ, Toadflakes, and the rest of them chose to remain anonymous. So, that's gonna do it for us, I guess. EmpyreaL takes it 3-0. So, any last comments, Siri?
Basically just thank you to all of the players and to all of the viewers for supporting this. I'm gonna try, like we said, we're gonna try and reach out, see what's going on with the MBT, a couple other matches, see if we can't get some more streams. I heard a little birdie told me that a certain Waffle was back around, so I have to reach out to him and see what's up, see how he's doing, and maybe we'll get some streams there. So
Definitely watch Outreach. We'll be posting anything if it's going to be streamed there, so check back for that. Excited to MBT, and thank God this thing is over and I have no more responsibility. So thank you for tuning in, viewers. It was great. It'll be up on YouTube later, and you know, again, if you haven't seen that first final series, that was a way closer and way better series of matches, so check that out. Alright guys, I will catch you later. Homeless Bill signing off.
good night, everyone.